And this is non-Tera Ivy Cudgel, by the way. So non-Tera +6 Ivy Cudgel is enough to one-shot Mamoswine. A new 7-star raid has officially been announced for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and wouldn't you know it, this time we're traveling back in time to the land of Hisui to take on one of the Hisuian starters. That's right, the biggest BIRB himself, Decidueye, makes his return to Scarlet and Violet for another 7-star raid. And if you remember how this went last time, boom, baby! Well, we kinda embarrassed Decidueye like nobody's business. This time though, we're facing off against HISUIAN Decidueye with a Grass Tera type. Will this one end up exactly the same as the last one? Well, if we use Ogerpon, I can tell you, it's gonna be exactly the same. So today, let's take a look at how you're gonna use this Ogerpon build to just absolutely decimate HISUIAN Decidueye and do so much damage that we can pretty much one-shot this thing from any amount of health that it has. So with that, let's get to it. Now, for those of you that have not played the DLC yet, this is Ogerpon. Ogerpon is the box art Pokemon for the Teal Mask DLC, and it has this wonderful thing where it gets different masks that change its type. So this is Ogerpon holding the Hearth Flame mask, which is going to make it a fire type. It makes it grass fire with a fire Tera type, and no, you cannot change its Tera type. It is level 100, and honestly, this thing is kind of a monster. Now, as far as EVs go for this one, there's a couple different ways that you can go about doing your EVs. Pay no attention to mine, this is my competitive Ogerpon, so my EVs are all over the place. However, for this one, the one thing you want to make sure you have is that you have max physical attack on this one. That's going to be very key in taking down HISUIAN Decidueye as easily as possible. For your remaining 252 EVs though, you could honestly go one of two ways with this. You could either run them in max HP to just max out your HP stat as high as it will go, or you could run them as a max physical defense or max special defense. Although I don't see HISUIAN Decidueye being a special attacker, there's always that off chance. So, max physical attack and either max HP or max physical defense on this one with an adamant nature. That is pretty much the only choice you have on this one. Now, as far as your moveset goes on this one, we have 4 very distinct moves that we're going to run on our Ogerpon. Starting off with the obvious first choice, Sword Stance. Now, Sword Stance is a phenomenal move. It boosts your attack by +2 every time you use it. So, within 3 turns of using this, you can be at +6 and have yourself at max physical attack within the first 3 turns of the raid. This is going to be super important because this allows us to do massive damage to Decidueye, and honestly, makes this one about 20 times easier. Next up, going a little out of order on this one, we have Horn Leech. Horn Leech is a very useful move that Ogerpon gets access to that drains your opponent's HP. This is going to be really important for this raid because we don't have access to the Shell Bell because of that Hearth Flame mask. So Horn Leech is going to act as our Shell Bell and allow us to restore our HP as we are doing the raid. Next up on the list, we have Sunny Day, and Sunny Day is honestly, it's a setup move for this raid. When we put Sunny Day up, it is going to make the fire type attack that we're going to be doing that much more powerful and is going to allow us to do maximum damage to HISUIAN Decidueye as we're going through the raid. This one, honestly, if you don't want to run it, you could swap it out, but I would say if you want to do the most damage possible and make this raid as quick as you can, Sunny Day is going to be the way to go. Which brings us to our final move, Ivy Cudgel. Ivy Cudgel is Ogerpon's signature move. It is 100 base power with 100% accuracy, has a heightened chance of landing crits, and changes typing based off what mask you're holding. So in this case, it is not a grass type move, it is actually a fire type move, which when going up against a grass Tera Decidueye is going to mean that we're going to do just insane amounts of damage here. So Ivy Cudgel is your primary attacking move, and when you terrasilize Ogerpon, it's going to do even more damage. Now, the basic strat for this one is honestly pretty simple and pretty straightforward. You're going to come in, and the first 3 turns of your raid, you're going to run Sword Stance to get yourself up to +6 physical attack. After that, you're going to want to use Horn Leech for 3 turns to not only restore any HP lost, but also to build up your Tera. After that, you're going to want to use Sunny Day to make sure that you get that sun boost. And once you've done that, you're going to start spamming Tera, Fire, Ivy Cudgel. And this is just going to do insane amounts of damage. +6 Tera, Fire, Sunny Day, Ivy Cudgel does ridiculous amounts of damage to Hisuian Decidueye. But let's take a look at what this actually looks like inside of a raid against a 5-star Pokemon that has a similar defense stat to what Hisuian Decidueye has. Alright, now this is Mamoswine. Mamoswine, even as a 5-star raid, is still a formidable opponent, and Mamoswine and Hisuian Decidueye actually share the exact same base physical attacks or defense stat. So this is a really good way for us to gauge how much damage we're going to be able to do against Hisuian Decidueye. So again, like I said before, our first 3 turns are going to be spent running Sword Stance just to get our attack up as high as we can get it. Mamoswine's going to spend some time running moves like Blizzard, which honestly doesn't do a whole lot to us. And you know what? We're okay with that. Ice Shard hits for basically nothing. We get off Sword Stance number 2. We get off Sword Stance number 3 at this point. Ice Shard still does nothing. We're well over half HP, or like 3/4 HP at this point. And we come in and we check, and we're at +6 now. So since we're at +6, we can run our Sunny Day to get rid of not only the Snowscape for Mamoswine, but to boost our attack for Ivy Cudgel as well. Blizzard missed because it's no longer in the snow. Mamoswine removes negative effects from itself. That's fine because now we're going to come in and run Ivy Cudgel. And this is non-Tera Ivy Cudgel, by the way. So non-Tera +6 Ivy Cudgel is enough to one-shot Mamoswine. Same base physical defense as what Hisuian Decidueye has. And even though it's a 5-star, we weren't Tera at this point. If we were Tera with our Embody Aspect attack boost on that one and an attack cheer, that would have probably been close to a one-shot on Hisuian Decidueye. But I don't want you guys to take my word for this, or, you know, the stats of taking on a 5-star raid with the same base physical defense. I want you guys to see the actual damage calcs for this. So if you look at the damage calcs here, you can see that a +6 252 attack Hearthflame Mask Tera Fire Ogerpon with Ivy Cudgel against a -6 Hisuian Decidueye, which is honestly what you'd expect if you're going into this with a group. Somebody's going to be lowering defense, does 14,000 to 16,000 damage. And to one-shot a 7-star raid through shield, you're looking at the neighborhood of somewhere like 18,000 damage is what you want to be at. If we throw Helping Hand on here to simulate giving ourselves an attack cheer, that goes up to over 20,000 damage, which is 21,000 to 25,000. And that's honestly crazy damage. I don't think I've seen a 7-star raid where we can do that much damage to a raid boss before. But that's it, guys. That is how you're going to use Ogerpon as the one and only Pokemon that you are going to need to take against 7-star Hisuian Decidueye. I know this raid was just announced, so this build is honestly super early, but as soon as they announce that it's Grass Tera, there's really nothing else that you need to bring for this one. I do have some other builds planned for you guys, so make sure to stay tuned, turn on those notifications, and subscribe to the channel if you're not, so that way you don't miss out on those. But for now, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.